Well, hello, friend, and welcome to the Joyful Movement Show. I'm your host, Kim Hagel, and this is episode 87. And today we're starting a series I like to call Fitspo motivation sayings that are really anything but. And we're kicking the series off with embrace the suck. Now, if you follow me on social media, you'll have seen that I've done some reels along this theme of fitness motivation sayings that are really anything but. But I thought it would be valuable for you folks if we dig a little deeper into some of these here on the podcast. And this won't be a consecutive week after week series, but maybe about once a month or so for the next little while, we'll look at one of these common Fitspo phrases and pick it apart a little bit because we hear them all the time. Our instructors say them, they're on the social media memes, and influencers say them. So we internalize them naturally and we start to believe that this is how we should be thinking about exercise. And we use these quotes to supposedly motivate us to get moving. But what I want to ask you is it working? I think it's safe to say that most of us desire to be moving our bodies more. We know that if we're taking care of our bodies by moving it regularly, we're going to feel better mentally, emotionally, and physically. We're going to have more energy, less aches and pains. We're going to be able to get up and down off the floor easier, keep up with the kids easier, go on fun adventures. There's lots of whys that drive our desire to move. And yet, motivation is still such a struggle. It is so hard to find the time and drum up the energy or get ourselves out the door. So we try to talk ourselves into doing it by repeating one of these mantras, in this case, embrace the suck, in hopes that it will motivate us to just do it. Now, here's the kind of cool thing. You all know that I am a thought work nerd, and maybe you're not even aware of this, but what you're doing when you repeat these mantras is you are using the power of your thoughts to try to change how you feel. And this is a really good first step because our thoughts actually are what create our feelings. If you're familiar at all with the model or the self coaching model, which is a tool from cognitive behavioral therapy, the model states that in any given circumstance, in this case, the circumstance is exercise, our thoughts about the circumstance create our feelings. And then how we feel will determine the action that we take and the results that we get. So, using a saying like embrace the suck first of all implies that you do think exercise sucks. So, what you're trying to do is use the power of your thoughts to convince yourself to just embrace it. And the hope is that by thinking this thought, embrace the suck, that it will create the feeling of motivation or desire so that you'll take the action of getting that workout done. And then hopefully you'll get the result of feeling some benefits from that workout. So you're using the power of your thoughts, and our thoughts are very powerful. They directly influence how we feel. But the problem with mantras such as these is they're really sneaky and deceptive. We think they're motivating us, and maybe in the short term, it seems like it does. If your thoughts about exercise are along the lines of, I hate it, it's going to be hard, I'm going to be sore, there's a million other things I'd rather be doing, but I know it's good for me and I should do it. Saying something like embrace the suck might get you out the door. It might help you get the workout done in that moment. But is this thought, embrace the suck, really creating the feeling of motivation? And by that, I mean that intrinsic motivation or the true desire for exercise in the long term. I'm going to guess probably not, because when we feel intrinsically motivated, we don't have to rely on mantras like this to get us out the door. We just go because we really want to. Our real, authentic, true thoughts create our feelings. And if you think that exercise sucks, that it's hard, it hurts, but we should be doing it, that's what's contributing to the feelings that you have about exercise. And they're probably feelings along the lines of dread, procrastination, and avoidance. And unfortunately, a mantra or a positive affirmation such as this, though it might seem like it's motivating you, what it's actually creating in you is a feeling of pressure, coercion, and guilt. It might get you out the door. It might create the desired action of getting the workout done, but it keeps you in a negative frame of mind about exercise. There's not a lot of joy in the activity. And even if you feel better after, no one sticks to something long term that they think sucks. Now, of course, this is the Joyful Movement show, and you all know that joyful movement is my jam. But this is not to say that every second that we're working out or moving, it's got to be sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes we get out of breath. Sometimes things are really hard and our muscles feel sore. We feel uncoordinated or like we don't know what we're doing. And that's uncomfortable and maybe not exactly joyful in the moment. But being uncomfortable, stretching yourself to move outside your comfort zone and challenging yourself doesn't have to be dreadful. It's all the attitude behind it. If we're operating from the mindset that exercise sucks, it's hard, it hurts, but I should do it, essentially, exercise is punishment, you'll never feel motivated or inspired. You're going to ride the struggle bus until eventually you just give up. If, on the other hand, your attitude is movement is a way that I can care for my body, there's no right or wrong way to do this, and challenging myself is a way to explore, then you're going to be focused on how movement adds to your life, how it benefits you, and how it contributes to you feeling good either in the moment or after. Thinking about exercise in this way is going to help you feel grateful for what your body can do. It's going to help you feel curious to explore and challenge yourself. And it's going to help you feel inspired to try new things. Those are all the types of feelings that go along with having intrinsic motivation. That's what's going to get you out the door without having to lie to yourself and bypass your feelings by repeating a mantra such as embrace the suck. So, just to recap, up to this point, we've been talking about how our thoughts create our feelings. And the bottom line is you can't create a positive feeling about exercise through a negative thought, such as embrace the suck. You cannot trick your brain to feel differently by trying to tell it that it's supposed to suck and just do it. Our thoughts are very powerful, but we can't just positive think ourselves into a new reality. You've got to be honest about your true thoughts. Be curious about them and aware of how they are creating the results you're getting, and then coach yourself towards a new way of thinking. It's a very subtle but very important distinction. Instead of embrace the suck, which reinforces the thought that exercise does suck and creates the feeling of dread, instead of that, we want to coach ourselves to be curious about what's good about movement. How does it serve me? How does it add to my life? What do I enjoy? What doesn't suck that I'd actually feel interested in doing without having to force myself? Mindset is so important, but I don't mean willpower or self discipline or all the other ways that Fitspo refers to mindset. I mean, really getting curious about our thoughts and how they're contributing to our results. And that's why thought work is such a cornerstone in all of my work with my clients, because I can tell you all day long how to move your body and how certain moves are going to support your goals. And you might even feel stronger and more mobile. But if you are not working on your thoughts about movement at the same time, you're just going to quit as soon as we're done our work together. I'm sure you've experienced that in other programs before where everything's going along great as long as you have the trainer or the plan to follow. But as soon as it's over and you're left to your own devices, you lose all motivation. You gotta do that internal work if you want to see lasting change in terms of motivation and consistency. It all starts with your thoughts. The problem is, oftentimes we're not even really aware of our thoughts until we listen to something like this podcast episode and go, oh, yeah, I guess I have been thinking pretty negatively about exercise. No wonder I've been struggling with motivation. Our thoughts can be unconscious, and we can easily get tricked into believing that our thoughts are truths or facts. Like maybe you never questioned before today that exercise doesn't have to suck. Sometimes it takes that outside person offering a unique perspective and asking those challenging questions to help us become aware of the thoughts that we're automatically having that seem like facts and to coach us to examine them and poke holes in them. That's what this podcast is all about. I am here to challenge all that toxic Fitspo messaging and to hopefully inspire you to think a little differently about exercise and movement so that When you think differently, you start to feel differently. And in feeling differently, it encourages you to get moving more because you want to, not because you have to. And as you move more, you start to feel better. You get to experience all those amazing benefits of movement, like having more energy, being able to move and lift things independently without asking for help, being able to go on adventures without worrying about whether you'll be able to keep up or hold anybody back. And I hope that's what you're getting from this podcast. But if you've been listening to the podcast for a while and you find yourself thinking, like, yeah, it all makes so much sense what you're saying, Kim. I understand that how I'm thinking about exercise is keeping me stuck, but I still can't seem to find that consistency. I can't think of what would feel good, what I'd enjoy. And I just have no idea where to begin on this whole joyful movement journey. Then I got you. I understand. I'm here for you. And I would really love to support you and work with you inside the What Moves Me membership. So, this is my brand new offering. The What Moves Me Functional, FUN, Functional Movement Membership is my new monthly subscription. It's super affordable. And as far as I know, it's the only program of its kind that offers not just the how to part about movement. I do have pre recorded movement videos, all very functional, weight neutral, little to no equipment required, and safe for people at all levels. But along with exploring movement together, we also do the coaching and the thought work to become aware of how that toxic Fitspo messaging has hijacked your relationship with exercise and killed your motivation. We challenge those thoughts and we work together to create the mindset you need to experience joyful movement. So, the What Moves Me membership is perfect for the woman who feels very all or nothing with exercise, but is getting nowhere. And when you do exercise, it feels like a punishment or something you have to force yourself to do, and you're running out of willpower. And when you're not active, you're shitting all over yourself and feeling guilty that you're not doing enough. Or maybe you feel like you're just not a fitness person. You hate traditional exercise. You feel out of place in a gym or feel embarrassed about having to take modifications. Maybe you have injuries, health conditions, or chronic pain, and traditional exercise often hurts, but you have no idea how to move in a safe way. This is the membership for you. Inside the What Moves Me membership, you are going to learn how to safely move your body in ways that are effective and that you enjoy so that you make steady and sustainable progress in your actual functional fitness. You're going to discover those mindset pieces that are contributing to your struggle with motivation and why you're relying on willpower. And you're going to transform exercise from a dreaded to do to the part of the day that you look forward to. You're going to make tangible improvements in your functional fitness without having to spend hours at the gym and forcing yourself to do workouts that you hate. And the best part, you're going to find a supportive community of people just like you who will cheer you on and believe in you when your self belief is lacking. Like I said, there's two parts. There's the mindset part. So inside the membership, you'll have access to our Discover Joyful Movement course, which is a course I created around my 10 principles of joyful movement, which if you need a refresher on those, that go back to episode 3 to 12, where I break each one of the 10 principles down. It's going to really help you transform your exercise mindset, taking you away from that all or nothing, no pain, no gain, and shooting all over yourself to consistent, effective, and enjoyable movement. And then the movement part is really fun, hence the FUN functional movement piece. So each month we have a theme where we take a specific functional fitness objective and we work together as a community to improve in just that one area in a really lighthearted and supportive way. So in October, we're going to be focusing on adding more movement into our workday and correcting some of those imbalances that come from sitting at a desk. And then November is all about our mobility. And you can get the rest of the monthly themes by checking out the website. And then the coaching part. That's really the best part of the membership is that you get face-to-face time regularly with me, where I'm right there supporting you through all of your movement goals. There's a monthly training call where I teach you all about the monthly theme. There are pre-recorded movement videos of all different types and intensities and lengths of times. There's workouts and journaling prompts. And you get bi-weekly live group coaching calls with yours truly, where I'm there and you can ask me any of your questions about your mindset blocks around your motivation, or maybe even specific movement things like what's the best exercise to strengthen my core? How do I train my legs if I have knee pain. You can get form advice. I can watch you do a movement and give you corrections. And we can talk about your goals and I can support you with that. So there is a link in the show notes if you want to learn more about the membership. And honestly, I would absolutely love to have you inside. It's just $79 a month. And there is a founding members promotion on for the month of September 2022, where you can lock in at 50% off as long as you stay in the membership. So it's super affordable. And at that price, it's pretty low risk to try it out. I am very excited about this program, and I know that it has the potential to really change people's lives. Like I said last week, I feel very strongly that the fitness industry is leaving people behind. So many people are missing out on all the amazing benefits of movement because Fitspo makes us think it has to suck. And that's just not okay with me. Movement is for everybody, and you deserve to feel and function your very best. So, to bring this all back around, I want to encourage you to be curious about how the thought, embrace the suck, makes you feel. And even more so, how believing that exercise does suck is affecting your desire for movement. And see if you can coach yourself to think instead of how movement adds to or could add to your life, and how focusing on the benefits changes your motivation. And if you need help with this, you know that I'm here for you. So with that, I'll sign off. I hope that you have a great week with some joyful movement in there. In the meantime, you can connect with me on social media. I'm at Radiant Vitality Wellness. And if you are enjoying this podcast, I would love it if you would share it on your social channels or go on over to iTunes and leave a rating and review, because it really does help to get the message out about this podcast and help those women who are missing out on the benefits of movement to see that there is a different way. And then lastly, if you want to learn about the membership or any of my other offerings, you can find the links to all of that in the show notes for this episode, which are on my website at www.radiantvitality.ca/JMS87. That stands for Joyful Movement Show 87, which is the episode number. All right, my friends, be well, and here's to your radiant vitality.